Hello there. Welcome back to the Codex. So, very excitingly, as always, we have yet another new Warframe in the game, and its name is Cyte-09. And thankfully, unlike some Warframes that we get, it seems like he's actually good, which I always appreciate. So let's go over his build here that I'm currently rocking and playing around with. First, we'll go over the shards. Now, all of these shards are basically completely optional. This is not one of the frames that I view them as being, like, super mandatory, but I liked him enough that I decided to throw some on. So, you don't usually see me using violets, but I am using 2 Tau Forged violets for primary electric damage, and that's because his neutralizer sniper rifle, which is his 4th ability, is modded with rifle mods, and it counts as a primary, so if you put these shards on, it will apply to his 4th, along with your actual primary, of course. So 2 of those, 2 ability strength shards, and 1 casting speed shard. I do like the cast. If you were to only use one of these, I would say that he probably does enough damage that you don't really need any of these damage boosting ones, essentially. But the casting speed does make his just his casting feel a little bit more smoother. I love casting speed shards on almost any Warframe. It just is a fantastic quality of life improvement. Now, going over the actual frame here, the first thing I'll mention is if you want to, you can use the new Worthy Camaraderie Aura, which adds 75% additional weak point critical chance. If you want to really feed into the the theme of him loving to shoot weak points, you can throw that on and do even more weak point damage. But given the fact that his passive already gives you up to 300% additional crit chance against weak points, I don't think it provides a huge value specifically on him, because he essentially already has that. It would be funny if you were to run a full team of 4 people running this, because then that would be another 300% weak point critical chance. And a fun fact, I think this might be new Void Cascade meta, if this weak point crit chance applies to operators and amps, because if this applies to amps, to where if a full team runs this, your amp gets 300% extra crit chance when you shoot a Thrax's head, this is going to be insane in Void Cascade. So just a random little side note there. Anyway, on to the main build. As you can see, I care a lot about range, strength, and then you definitely want a good chunk of duration. So the range here, one of the main reasons I care about that is because it affects the ricochet range of his 4th ability. His sniper rifle Neutralize, when you headshot somebody, it'll ricochet off and hit nearby enemies. So it's not just a single target weapon. It also affects of course, the scanning range of his 1st ability, Seek. And interestingly, it seems that the punch through on Seek scales with range rather than power strength, like you might think that it would. Although the weak point damage does scale with power strength. So it is a damage boost there, along with, of course, power strength basically acts as base damage for Neutralize, since it is a ability weapon, and it'll bump up the damage from Resupply. Resupply is a superbly strong ability, by the way. The way that Resupply works, it functions essentially the same way as Toxic Lash and Zada's Whisper, by making you deal a secondary hit of damage. Just like how, Zada's Whisper makes you hit a secondary Void hit, and Toxic Lash is a secondary Toxic hit, and it has guaranteed status. This is that, but you can choose any element you want. Now, it does have to be an element, so it can't be Void damage, for example, or Tau, or anything like that, but you can choose any primary or hybrid element. So Blast being super amazing, for example, which I'll show you, and that damages double on headshots. Now, since this does function like Toxic Lash or Zada's Whisper, this should mean that any weapon that you use this on should triple dip Bane mods if you want to take advantage of that. Now, for the actual mods here, as you can see, we're using Blind Rage, Umbral Intensify for a lot of strength, and we have an additional 30% from those shards, so that's why we're at 213. Lots of range from the combination of Stretch and Overextended there. A little bit of the duration from Continuity Reach. Rolling Guard is the only survivability mod on here, thanks to the 3rd ability Evade, keeping you basically permanently invisible as long as you keep getting weak point kills. Your main defensive aspect should just be the fact that people can't see you to shoot at you, but I wanted to keep Rolling Guard on here in case we get the occasional stray status on us that might kill us, and I am still using Brief Respite. Along with, on my secondary, I'm using 2 Augur mods on my Epitaph here, so I have Augur Pact and Augur Seeker to give me even more Shield Gate restoration from spending energy. Now, the Arcanes are Augmented and Energized, so once Augmented is stacked up, we'll have even more strength, so this will be at 273 strength. And then, of course, Sure-Footed for that knockdown resist. So, a fairly basic build. Nothing extreme there. one thing I will note is that since Cyte's ability can turn you invisible, it is really good to throw Hush on your weapon. For example, I have it on the Sabars Incarnon, so I can go invisible and I can make my actual main gun silent so that enemies won't know where I am even when I'm shooting. So this is a fun little synergy you can do for that if you can sacrifice that extra mod slot there. Now for the companion, we're using just a basic Nautilus build, and we are using a essentially priming cold setup with Shivering Contagion. Shivering Contagion is super crazy on Cyte-09 because, as I've said before, this applies to your whole loadout, not just the weapon it's equipped on. So this Shivering Contagion will also affect Neutralize, which the alt fire of Neutralize is a cold grenade that instantly freezes an enemy that it hits and then keeps applying cold status for 5 seconds. With Shivering Contagion on, you will instantly freeze the whole room. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane how much the freeze effect is boosted by Contagion, and you'll see that here. So that's pretty much it for the build there. Let's hop into an actual mission, and we'll see what this looks like. Alright, we are in the mission here. Let me activate my invisibility and build up some headshots here. Every single time that you get a headshot, it adds duration back to your invisibility, so it's really easy to keep it going as long as you're not using like pure AoE. Obviously, if you bring like a Kuvazar here and are just blasting crowds, it's going to be kind of hard to hit headshots. So bring something, you know, like a good headshot capable Incarnon, or, you know, pull out his 4th ability here. Let's activate blast rounds on that from his 2nd ability, and you're about to see how absolutely crazy that is. Look at the grenade to ult fire. Instant frozen. Instant freeze the entire crowd on command. It is wild how good it is. And as good as the damage right now is that you can see, and man, I love those ricochet rounds, they're so cool, and they do so much fucking damage. It gets even better the longer you stay, because if you look up here, you can see this 43% here. This is the extra 1% crit chance that you're gaining per weak point kill, and again, that goes up to 300% extra crit chance. So after you get 300 headshot kills, basically, you'll have an additional 300% crit chance on headshots, or technically any weak point that you hit. So it's extremely potent for a passive. And yeah, there's 10 million damage right there. Absolutely insane how much damage you do. Fire that grenade out. And as you can see, these guys they don't know where I am because I'm invisible. It is so delicious. And you can see that timer down there. That invisibility duration also seems to scale with how... Yeah, max duration. Yeah, so the max duration of the invisibility also scales the duration, as well as the amount of duration that you get back on the weak point kill. So you can see with the 170 whatever % I have right now, I get 3.58 seconds back on kill in up to 53 seconds. So that makes it basically impossible to run out of time as long as you keep consistently getting those weak point kills. Especially if the ricochet round, I don't know if the ricochet round from the 4th ability prioritizes ricocheting into other headshots, or if it goes for body shots, but especially if it's like the dual Toxicist where it tries to hit other headshots, then that makes it extremely easy to maintain. But even if you're just getting a headshot at a time, it's really easy to maintain when you get over 3 seconds back from a single headshot. Unless you have super slow aim or something. As you can see, the damage is fantastic. Let's put his 1st ability down here. Gives you aimbot, and look at the range on it. And look at that punch through. You can shoot through this thick-ass wall and hit dudes that are ridiculously far away. Yeah, you can shoot through anything. I think it gives you a headshot damage bonus, too, so it's even more damage. Yeah, weak point damage bonus is almost 200% right now. Now, I don't know if that's additive, like a serration, or if that's multiplicative. If that's multiplicative, it's obviously extremely insane, but even if it's additive, your gun doesn't have any arcanes on, which, you know what I just realized? I didn't show you the gun build, so I'll do that after this mission here. That's my bad, I only showed you the Cyte-09 build. But yeah, you can't put any arcanes on an ability weapon, of course, so base damage would actually not be terrible of an increase, because you don't have as much as a regular gun might have. But yeah, it's delicious. I mean, I love him. He's super fun to play. He's survivable, obviously, because you can just be invisible. The damage is absolutely insane. As you can clearly see, you're not going to have issues killing stuff. And this is without an armor strip or any kind of helmet buff or anything. I don't even think I would. I don't think I would even put a helmet on him, honestly. I mean, what would you replace? The only thing that you could replace is the first ability, honestly. And I actually like the first ability. So this, I think, might be one of the frames that I don't use a helmet on, because I just don't know what I'd replace. I think I would, any ability that I took off, I think I would miss it, basically. So I'll probably just keep him as is. If you didn't care to use his fourth ability, I guess you could drop that and just use like a regular primary. Speaking of which, let's pull the Sabaris Incarnon back out and show how crazy that is on him. Let's activate those blast rounds again. I don't know if that actually activated or not. Does that not work on Incarnon rounds? Oh, maybe that doesn't work on Incarnon rounds. Hold on, let's test that. Let's switch it to... Let's switch that to magnetic and see if I get... Oh, I have to not instantly kill someone first. Does this work? I don't know if you can get his extra damage bonus on Incarnon rounds, because it's not showing the ammo type changing. But either way, you do get his headshot bonus, of course, and crit chance and whatnot, so that's quite effective. Yeah, you absolutely shred on Cyte-09. I mean, it's ridiculous how easy it is to stay alive and how much damage you do. Yeah, you can see what I'm talking about next to the ammo pool right there. It has the elemental icon of whatever type that you chose. Like, for example, if I switch over to radiation now, you can see it has the radiation symbol next to it. And it wasn't showing that in the Incarnon form, so maybe it doesn't work on Incarnon ammo. I don't know. That would be unfortunate if that's the case. But regardless, super, super good. Let's pull his fourth back out, give it blast rounds again. Because putting blast on it is a hilarious AoE damage potential increase.
The longer you hold out, the deeper I can search. But if you need to leave,
Thrax don't stand a chance either. You can see one shot in the head, gone. Just got hit by a heat proc there, so that's where rolling guard comes in handy, because that would have killed me otherwise. One thing that does kill me is these damn sentients. They are one of the things that actually get me. So I'm still working out some of the survivability potential issues that he has, depending on what it is that you're fighting. You can see one shot Acolyte there, toast. Yeah, you land those headshots, especially with the blast rounds on, and you just nuke crowds. It's crazy. But yeah, let's hop back to the ship here, and I will show you the build that I put on his actual weapon, since I forgot that. And there we go. There's a showcase of me actually being able to go down. So rip. Anyways, back to the ship. All right, so here is the neutralizer build that I'm working with, because I forgot to show this at the beginning of the video, so that's my bad. Here we go. So I'm using one of the new mods, Primary Acuity. It gives you 350% weak point damage and 350% weak point critical chance. But multi-shot cannot be modified. So if you're using this, then just make sure that you don't throw Galvanized Chamber on, because it literally will not do anything, because this makes it so that you can't stack multi-shot. But that's okay, because we're just relying on always hitting those weak point hits to benefit from the double effect of this mod. I combined that with Semi-Rifle Cannonade. This gives you 240% base damage along with some punch through. Not that the punch through really matters on him because of his first ability, but it's just stacking another decent chunk of base damage. I would actually prefer to run Spectral Serration. I just don't have that yet. Let me show you what that does, though. Let me post that. So Spectral Serration specifically works while you are invisible. If I could type here, that'd be great. It's 330% damage while invisible. So obviously you can be invisible 24/7 as Cyte-09, so that would actually be even more base damage than Semi-Rifle Cannonade gives, so I would actually use that. It would also remove the potential downside of Fire Rate cannot be modified that you have on Semi-Rifle Cannonade here, so if you wanted to, you could run like Vile Acceleration instead of Hammer Shot if you were to run Spectral Serration. But anyways, we're running Critical Delay plus Acuity, so we have a lot of crit chance, especially when you combine that, again, with the crit chance that stacks up from his passive ability. And because of that massive amount of crit chance, like 400 or 500% plus crit chance that you get on him eventually, that's why I am running Hammer Shot, even though the status chance on Neutralizer is not great. You do want that extra crit damage because you're stacking so much crit chance that the more crit damage you add on, you really benefit from those really high crit tiers, like tier 1, 2, 3 red crits. And then in terms of the damage, we're just doing a general corrosive and cold build. And then, of course, whatever element you add on to it from his ammo ability. So yeah, that's the build we're playing around with. Just keep in mind, like I said, once you get Spectral Serration, you're probably going to drop Cannonade for that if you're using this build. Aside from that, yeah, he's a great frame. He's very fun. Like I said, he's survivable just because you can stay invisible. He does huge damage, as you saw. Like earlier today, I think I hit a 50 million red crit on somebody, which is just hilarious to see from an ability. Very fun. Very fun. I love when a new Warframe comes out and it's actually good, because as you guys all know, we've had, you know, some hits, some misses in the past, so it's nice when we get a really solid hit like this. Let me know down below what you guys think, though. Do you like Cyte-09? What do you think of him? Do you like his abilities? Do you like how he looks, for one? Oh, speaking of how he looks, how about that Quincy skin, huh? Quincy Gemini skin looks pretty nice. I actually forgot to show that off in the mission, but yeah, all these Gemini skins look really good, too. Very fire, very high quality. Anyways, good frame. I like him. He's fun. If you liked the video, consider subbing if you haven't, so you see my future videos when they come out. Like the video, leave a comment. Really helps get the video out there, helps the channel. You guys are great. I'll see you in the next one.